After initially learning from his father, Nikhil Banerjee continued his formal studies with a number of well-known and highly esteemed local teachers in the Calcutta area, including sitarist John Gomes, Sarodist Radhika Mohan Maitra, sitarist Mustaq Ali Khan, and the musician and musicologist Barinda Kishore Ray Chaudhary, who eventually introduced Nikhil to the legendary Ustad Alauddin Khan. Ustad Alauddin Khan was at the time one of the most influential and respected teachers and performers of North Indian Hindustani music. A Bengali Muslim, he was invited to the royal court in Maihar at the invitation of the local Maharaja. Primarily a Sarodist, he was known for his immense knowledge of classical music and his incredible facility and innovation on many instruments. As a guru, Alauddin Khan demanded absolute commitment from his disciples, his most well-known disciples being sitarist Ravi Shankar and his own son, Sarodist Ali Akbar Khan.
Nikhil was attending all the music festivals wherever I played and wherever my father played. Whenever my father goes to Calcutta, Nikhil used to come and sit down all day. And he asked, why you come every day and why sitting all day? What do you want? Nikhil say, I want to become your disciple. Father said, no. Like that, 2-3 years passed.
After some initial hesitation, the aging Alauddin Khan agreed to accept Nikhil as a disciple, whereupon Nikhil left his home and family in Calcutta and moved many hundreds of miles away to the tiny hamlet of Maihar in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh to live and study with his guru.
One afternoon, I see my grandfather arriving from Calcutta along with Nikhil Banerjee, and Nikhil Banerjee had a huge, like a coffin kind of a box. I used to wonder what is in there. Then I found out it was sitar is inside. I was very young at that time, probably 7 or 8.
Ustad Alauddin Khan took him as his son. He used to look after him, all his needs, but in return he wanted his devotion. He wanted every bit of his energy for music, and whatever he gave, he wanted him to absorb it completely. He was a very tough guru in that sense.
He used to stay next to my grandfather's room. My grandfather could hear his practice. He used to work very, very hard, almost all day. He's practicing most of the time.
When we were in our teacher's house, our guru's house, we used to practice about 10 to 12 hours a day.
10 to 12 hours
per day. That means, you just practice and you forget the whole world.
Yes.
Sometimes, our teacher, especially I'm talking about my teacher, he was so strong and man of very strict discipline. So naturally, he will force us to practice.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we didn't feel like practicing, he will come and say, until unless you practice,
Yes.
the food will not be served.
After several years of study in Maihar, something unexpected happened which forced Nikhil to stop learning from Alauddin Khan, which subsequently led Nikhil to continue his studies with Alauddin Khan's son, the great Sarodist Ali Akbar Khan, who was at the time the court musician of the Maharaja of Jodhpur in Rajasthan state.
Some disciple, they planned something, the two of them. They came to my father and say, promise me what I request you will never say no. So my father said, what? Because first you promise, then we will say. So father said, all right, I promise. Then those disciples, they said, you promise that you won't teach Nikhil anymore. And father shocked. You see, father never expected that this kind of thing will happen. Immediately, he sent Nikhil Banerjee to me. Whenever I used to visit my father, I used to bring him. He told Nikhil to play his sitar in living room. And he closed half door in bedroom and called me there. And my father telling me all the time, this is not right, you have to correct this thing. Nikhil was with me for more than 15 years in Jodhpur, in Bombay, then Calcutta.
During their many years together, Nikhil Banerjee and Ali Akbar Khan performed countless duets throughout India.
The duets between Nikhil Banerjee and my father were quite extraordinary, and they used to play for hours and hours.
I remember that when my father was in Calcutta and he was sick, he needed some little minor operation. And Nikhil used to meet every time to my father. Nikhil told me that my father cried and say, my son, forgive me that I could not teach you.
Ali Akbar Khan was not only my father's guru, but for an important phase in my father's life, he was probably also the best friend. My father used to call him Dada in Bengali, which means older brother. He was not only a musical influence, which he obviously was in a very strong way, he also made a big difference in every aspect of my father's life.
He used to call me Dada because he's a disciple of my father, therefore he became my guru brother, Guru Bhai. So I can't say he's my disciple. As a Guru Bhai, I taught him.